Hi, my name's Alan, and today I'm going to show you how to make boba tea, also known as bubble tea. You're going to need a pot to boil water and something to pick out the boba with to be able to use later. A strainer. You're going to need a spoon. You're going to need some scissors, probably. Personally, I like to use loose leaf tea, so I use these stainless steel tea filters, or tea strainers is what you would call them. So that's what I use, but of course you can use regular tea bag tea. And then of course you need a boba straw. Mine is metal, but you can get a plastic one. And these are different from regular straws in that they're very wide, so to allow the boba tea to pass, or the boba to pass through the bubble. So in addition, finally, you will need a pitcher. For the ingredients, obviously to start with, you're going to need water. So I have some here in a filtered jug, clean water here, and tea. So this is my loose leaf green tea, and I do recommend either using green tea or jasmine tea. Those are my two favorites. But if you want to try something different, using oolong or black tea, go ahead and experiment. After that, of course, you'll need the boba. Now, this is something that I got from a Vietnamese grocer on 27th Street here in Lincoln. These are tapioca pearls is what they call them. You can call them boba pearls, whatever you like. But this cost me about $5 in the Vietnamese grocer on 27th Street. And that's what makes boba tea, frankly. Again, you can use green tea packets or green tea bags. And so if you don't have a metal strainer like I do, or loose leaf green tea or whatever, then you're welcome to use that as well. In addition, of course, to make it more interesting, to make it boba, I'm using pineapple juice. This is 100% pineapple juice that I'll be mixing together with the green tea to make it have a sort of a special taste. It has some natural sugar in it, but I will be probably using some other things and to sweeten it, and that would be my favorite thing to sweeten things, which is honey. This is locally sourced honey, and so I bought this big gallon, 12 pounds of honey from the farmer's market and the Haymarket that happens every Saturday in the Haymarket area downtown. So if you're vegan though, or you don't like honey for whatever reason, you can always use simple syrup. It's just simply a mixture of sugar and water. You can look up online how to make simple syrup. We won't cover this here. But at any rate, these are the ingredients and the tools that you'll need to make boba tea. So let's continue. So to first start off with, I'm going to actually show you how to make the tea first. So that's the basic thing. What I'm going to do is I'm going to actually put clean water into this pitcher of, and go ahead and make the tea that way. So we'll go ahead and do that. This is about a gallon pitcher, and so I'll go ahead and fill it up here since I do have enough clean water for today to be able to do that. So we'll go ahead and fill it up. Okay, almost to the top there. Very good. So you have your pitcher full of clean water, and then what I'm going to actually do is I'm going to go ahead and open up the green tea, loose leaf green tea, and I'm going to fill both of the tea strainers about halfway full. You want to make the tea a little strong, because the way that we're going to make this is we're going to be using a cold brew tea. And generally for cold brew tea, you actually have to use a little more tea than normal to make it the same strength. And so I'm going to go ahead and make this about halfway full. Now again, this is about a gallon of clean water, and so actually when I've been making tea lately, I've really only been using about a half gallon. So ideally, actually, I would have about 4 of these, most likely, to be able to get the strength of tea that I'm really looking for. But I'm going ahead and filling these about halfway full. And so what I'm going to do is screw them on top, and then I'm going to slowly put them in the gallon of clean water, okay? So I'm going to do that. And as you can see, it has a small hook here at the end to be able to hook onto the edge of the pitcher. And so I'm just lightly making sure that not a lot of the tea leaves slip through the strainer, and I'm doing that. And then what I'm going to do is put the lid on top, okay? Doesn't have to be tightly on top, but on top enough so that way you eliminate as many particles that come into the tea there. And so this will actually take around somewhere between 3 hours to as long as all night to actually make. What I typically do is I will set this pitcher right next to my window where the sun is shining. And if it's a relatively warm day, the sun will heat the water to about what the temperature is outside, and it'll allow the tea to actually, slowly, but still essentially brew inside of the pitcher, okay? Okay, and so this is the tea that has been brewing overnight. Now, I would like to make it a little stronger, so I'll probably replace the tea leaves after a little while, but as you can see, it's very green and pretty strong. I'm gonna make it a little stronger though. Now I've already got tea set aside, so I am gonna set this aside for now, and then I'm gonna show you what I already have, which is tea here, okay? Now this is the tea I've already made. As you can tell, it's a little bit short now this time, and I'm going to actually make sure that I can clip this for later. Try and keep it as fresh as I can later. Okay, so we have, and this is the glass that I'm using for the boba tea. So we have the tea here that's already made, and we have the honey and the pineapple juice, okay, and the boba pearls, all right? Now, what I'm going to do next is I'm going to, after the tea is already made, you can start on the boba pearls, okay? And I'll show you how to make that over here. So, we're here boiling the water for the tapioca pearls right here, and you usually want to start with boiling at like mid-temperature, okay? So, we're gonna actually, for boiling the boba pearls, we've already got the water boiling. Now, you only want to have the stove on medium heat, okay? So as you can see here, the stove is actually only on medium, all right? And so that'll take you a few minutes to get boiling. Now, what I'm gonna start doing is I'm going to measure out how many boba pearls I want. Now, this is for just a single drink, and this cup here is exactly 1/4 cup. But I'm only going to actually use half of this cup. I don't have a 1/8 cup measurement, so I'm only going to fill this about halfway full of boba pearls. All right. And again, this is what the bag looks like for the boba tea pearls, the tapioca pearls, all right? Now, what I'm going to do is put these boba pearls inside of the boiling water, okay? And what I need to do actually is I need to make sure that they don't stick to the bottom. That's a very big problem, is having it stick to the bottom. So these are going to boil for 5 minutes like this, all right? So we're going to go ahead and let it boil for 5 minutes. All right, so we have here, it's been 5 minutes already, and so I'm actually going to turn off the heat, and I'm going to remove the boba tea, or the boba pearls, from the heat. So 5 minutes has already passed where it's been boiling for 5 minutes, and we're gonna remove it from the heat for 2 minutes, okay? So, and then just to reiterate, for something that we didn't cover earlier before, the reason why I make sure that the tea strainers are only halfway full is because if you completely fill the tea strainers with loose leaf tea to the top, what's going to happen is when the tea leaves expand, they're going to become really compressed still. And so what you really want is you want the water, the clean water, to really filter in through the tea leaves. And so you really don't want to compress those tea leaves too much while the tea is actually brewing. So that's why I always recommend that you only actually fill those tea leaf strainers about halfway full, just to make sure that the water can flow freely and brew properly with the tea. All right. And so this is again, this is kind of cooking without the stove being on for another 2 minutes, which at this point has basically happened more or less. And so we're actually going to go over to the sink over here, and I'm going to actually douse this with cold water, okay? So I'm going to pour out some of the hot water, and I'm going to turn on the cold water, and then that way you can stop the tapioca pearls, the boba pearls, from cooking still. Because when you douse them with cold water, they'll stop cooking. And that's what we're doing here. Okay. Okay, so they've stopped cooking, and so that's good. I'm going to actually set this to the side over here, all right? Okay. And then what I'm going to do is, let's see here. What I like to do is, at least for this specific drink, now people's tastes vary, but I usually like to taste more tea than pineapple juice. That's my personal preference. And so what I usually like to do is, I will mix about, and this is unsweetened tea, so mix about 2/3 of the tea, make this about 2/3 full. Let's say around here is good, okay? It's not an exact measurement, but roughly speaking. And then for the pineapple juice, they recommend shaking it, so I'm going to shake this pineapple juice. And again, as the ingredients say, this is 100% pineapple juice. I mean, there's 3 ingredients here, with ascorbic acid being like the somewhat less natural ingredient, but it's just vitamin C. This is about as pure as pineapple juice as you can get. And I'm going to pour this into the tea. Okay. All right. And so there is, as you can see here, just to remind you all, some natural sugar. So 1 cup is about 33 grams of sugar. So that's a little bit high. And so I think I probably only put about maybe 4 or 6 ounces in there. You don't want to make it too sugary. And then I'm just going to stir it like this. Okay. And then what I'm going to do here is I'm going to take the boba that you see here, okay, and I'm going to take my strainer and I'm going to strain out the boba, okay, and then I'm going to put the pearls in there, okay, so strain it and put it in there, and strain it, put it in there, strain it, and put it in there. Okay. And that's it. That's boba tea, all right? So at any rate, you can sweeten it if you like. You can add a little more tea if you like more of that tea flavor instead of the pineapple juice flavor. You know, everybody's tastes are different. I'm just going ahead and, oh, I put this in backwards actually. I put this in the right way. But anyway, let me try and taste it. It's good. I think it could use maybe a little bit more tea, to be honest. So let me do that. There we go. That's good. All right. Well, this is my lesson in how to make some boba tea. Now that you know, you can go out and make some of your own. You can use not just pineapple juice, you can use grapefruit, you can use all kinds of juices to make your boba tea and just experiment. So anyway, hope you like this video and enjoy. Thank you.